Hello everyone. This is module regarding income tax deductions, which is our final module out of the 5 modules which we have taken for the short-term course on fundamentals of income tax return. So this is the most important module where we will come to know about various types of deductions and sections through which you can take the advantage, take the benefit while filing ITR. So let us discuss all these deductions one by one. So the first one is income tax deductions ATC. So one can avail deduction of rupees 1,50,000, that is 1.5 lakh, that will be subtracted from the gross income, which is actual income without any deduction. In previous modules, we have seen the gross income and the total income that comes after the deductions. So that part we are going to discuss now, deductions. So above 1.5 lakh, there will be no benefit in deductions for ATC, which means if you have savings, if you have deposited amount more than 1.5 lakh, in that case you will receive the benefits till 1.5 lakh only. So there are number of ways how you can do the saving and get the deductions. So PPF, that is Public Provident Fund, is a scheme provided by the government and the investment in it is eligible for deduction under section ATC, which means if we have deposited a money in PPF, which is a scheme provided by government, it is eligible for the deduction. So you can mention in the deduction part regarding your PPF. So deposits up to rupees 1.5 lakh in NSC qualify for deduction under section 80C of the Income Tax Act. So if you have deposit in NSC, then you are also eligible to get the deduction under section 80C. There is no maximum investment limit in NSC, and also TDS is not deducted on the interest amount. So this is good thing that on the interest amount TDS will not be deducted. However, interest earned on NSC are taxable. So if you have any interest that is earned from your NSC where you have deposited the money, that will be taxable. And under section 80C of the Income Tax Act, a deduction of up to rupees 1.5 lakh is allowed, which is upper limit that we have already discussed, that till 1.5 lakh one can avail the benefit. So if an individual invest in tax saving bank fixed deposits with maturity of 5 years and more. So this is not a normal FD or normal fixed deposit. There are some other tax saving bank fixed deposits that have the maturity of 5 years and even more. So this exemption is part of rupees 1.5 lakh exemption, which is currently available under the section 80C of Income Tax Act. So if you have deposits in bank's tax saving FD with maturity of 5 years, then you are eligible for the deduction of up to rupees 1.5 lakh. Another thing is life insurance premium payments can be claimed as a deduction under section 80C subject to maximum limit of 1.5 lakh. So this means you have some gross income and you have all the deposits in PPF, in NSCs, in tax saving bank FDs with maturity of 5 years and life insurance. So if you are paying to these categories, then you are eligible for having a deduction of up to rupees 1.5 lakh. But if you have above deposits than 1.5 lakh, but in that case you will get only deduction up to rupees 1.5 lakh. So not above that. Then investors can claim tax deduction of up to rupees 1.5 lakh under section 80C of the Income Tax Act. So all ELSS funds qualify for the tax deduction under this section, that is 80C. That means you can invest rupees 1.5 lakh for deductions under section 80C. So basically we are discussing about all types of deductions that are available with their limit, mostly 1.5 lakh is there, and you may have number of options now where you would like to invest so that you can get the deduction while filing ITR. So this slide will help you to know various deposit schemes where you can deposit the money to get the deduction till 1.5 lakh. And another one is for salaried employees with up to 2 children, tuition fees paid in the entire academic year per child are tax deductible. And it also means that if you are a working couple, then you can claim a tax benefits for 4 children. So two each you can claim. The maximum tax credit available under this head is again rupees 1.5 lakh as specified in section 80C. And the next to it is under section 80C of the Income Tax Act, you get a deduction for the principal of the loan repaid up to rupees 1.5 lakh a year, and the interest paid is deductible up to rupees 2 lakh per annum under section 24. So let us suppose take an example. If you have 15,000 EMI and out of that 11,000 is your interest and 4,000 is your principal amount. So in that case you will get a deduction of the principal amount, that is 4,000 into 12 months, that is 48,000, and 11 into 12, that much amount under the interest paid. So principal repaid can be availed up to rupees 1.5 lakh a year, and the interest paid is deductible up to rupees 2 lakh, because in EMIs mostly the interest part is more as compared to the principal. The next is a recognized employees provident fund EPF is a scheme approved by an income tax commissioner. An employee can claim a deduction of up to rupees 1.5 lakh under the same section for his own contribution to the EPF. Up to 9.5% of the interest credited to the recognized EPF is exempt from the tax. So all these are also various categories where you can deposit so as to get the deductions. So this is a simple table where you can find all these options, and this can be beneficial for you if you are planning to deposit money to have your savings so that it can come as a deductions in your ITR. So one is public provident fund, NSC purchase, fixed deposit with banks, that is we have discussed about the maturity of 5 years or more, life insurance premium, mutual funds, tuition fee, children education, housing loan repayment, recognized provident fund, statutory provident fund, annuity plan, approved superannuation fund, ULIP, that is market linked, NSC interest reinvested, and others. So all these options are available for you to have the savings to get the deductions under section 80C. So let us discuss another section, that is 80D, which is basically for the medical insurance. So deduction for the premium paid for medical insurance can be considered in this. So here you can see a table that for the self or family there is 25,000, and for parents that are senior citizen it is 50,000. So you as an individual or HUF can claim a deduction of 25,000 under this section, that is 80D, on the insurance for yourself, spouse and dependent children. That comes under a deduction of rupees 25,000. An additional deduction is there for the insurance of parents, that is available to 25,000 if they are less than 60 years of age, that is if they are not senior citizen coming in that category. But if the parents are aged above 60, the deduction amount is rupees 50,000. So in total 75,000 can be taken. So with effect from assessment year 2019-20 that we have discussed, a deduction of 25,000 is available for the amount paid to keep in force an insurance on the health of assessee, his spouse and children. A further deduction of 25,000 is available for the parents less than 60 years age, and a limit of 25,000 shall become 50,000 if the premium is paid in respect of a senior citizen, that is above the age of 60 years or more. And in case of senior citizens, self or parents, if no health insurance policy is taken, an amount of rupees 50,000 may be claimed toward medical expenses of such very senior citizen. So this is about section 80D, that is medical insurance. Next we have section 80 TTA, that is interest on saving account. So there is a deduction from gross total income for the interest on savings bank account that you have received interest on your savings bank account, that is also comes under deduction. If you let us suppose that if you are an individual or an HUF, you may claim a deduction of maximum 10,000 against interest income from your savings account with the bank, cooperative society or post office. Do include the interest from savings bank account in other income. This means in a year, if you are receiving 10,000 as the interest from your savings account that can be linked with any bank, cooperative society or post office, then it comes under a deduction that till 10,000 it is allowed, it will be deducted. And if it is more than, suppose it's a 20,000, then you can avail a deduction of maximum 10,000 for that. So section 80 TTA deduction is not available on the interest income from fixed deposits, that is FD, recurring deposits RD, or interest income from corporate bonds. So in that case it is not valid. That section will not be valid for these three categories, FD, RD and interest income from corporate bonds. But it is valid if it is the income from your savings account that may be linked with any bank, society or post offices. So this is about section 80 TTA, that linked with their interest that you have received from savings bank account. Then next to it is a section 80 TTB, which is the interest income. That is a deduction of interest on deposits for senior citizens. A new section 80 TTB has been inserted Wide Budget 2018, in which deductions with respect to interest income from deposits held by senior citizens will be allowed, and the limit for this deduction is 50,000. So no further deduction under section 80 TTA shall be allowed. In addition to section 80 TTB, section 194A of the Act will also be amended so as to increase the threshold limit for TDS on interest income payable to senior citizens. The earlier limit was 10,000, which was increased to rupees 50,000 as per the latest budget. So this was a section 80 TTB, which is for interest income. Next important, we have a section 80E. So we have lots of sections. It is not necessary to learn to rewind every section. So we have put all these text into our modules that will help you to refer again with your course that you are coming under which section, you have deposit money to which account, and whether it is deductible or not. So all these slides will be available to you for life, so that you can come again and see in which section your ITR is going and in which categories you can deposit. So let us continue with our section 80T, that is interest on education loan. A deduction for interest on education loan for higher studies is included in this. A deduction is allowed to an individual for interest on loans taken for pursuing higher education. So this loan may have been taken for the taxpayer, spouse or children, or for a student for whom the taxpayer is a legal guardian. So you have to be a legal guardian for whom you are paying interest on the loans that is taken for the education or higher education. So 80E deduction is available for a maximum of 8 years, beginning the year in which the interest starts getting repaid. So once you have started repaying the interest, from that year it will be available for the maximum of 8 years or till the entire interest is repaid. Suppose you have repaid in the 4 years, then it will be ended there. Whichever is earlier will be considered, and there is no restriction on the amount that can be claimed. So whether you have taken any amount, and it will be started when you start repaying the interest till 8 years or till the entire interest you have paid to bank. Next we have a section 139 2019-20. It's a new amendment for the income tax return. You have to answer these questions. These are the three questions, and if you have filled the yes, then you have to fill the amount as well, that how much amount. So the first question is, have you deposited amount exceeding 1 crore in the current account? And let me remind you, these three things we have discussed in our previous modules, that if you have an answer yes to these three questions, then it is mandatory for you to file the ITR. So if you have not done this, you will be questionable and you have to answer that why it is not being filed. So the first question is, have you deposited amount exceeding rupees 1 crore in the current account? If it is no, you don't have to write anything. If it is yes, you have to mention the amount. Have you spent amount exceeding rupees 2 lakh for the foreign travel? Nothing you have to write. If your answer is no, you have to mention the amount if it is yes. Then have you spent the amount exceeding rupees 1 lakh on consumption of electricity? No. In that case, you don't have to write anything. If you have yes, then you have to mention the amount. So there is a special note to be filled only if a person is not required to furnish a return of income under section 139(1), but filing return of income due to fulfilling one or more conditions mentioned in the 7th proviso to section 139(1). So you have to answer these questions, and if it is yes, you have to fill the amount as well. So this is all about our various sections that comes under deductions, and we can subtract it from our gross income. So let us compile the things which we have discussed. That so first we will enter the salary details after checking the form 16 which is given by the employer. Then if it is not given by employer, you can calculate over 12 months salary along with all the bonuses or leaves that you have taken. So there is some government introduced deductions as well for salaried person. So if any company deducted professional tax, then that too will be subtracted from the salary. It can be 200 per month or 2400 annually, and a maximum of 2500 can be levied as professional tax on any person per financial year. So taking the form 16, putting all the salaries and the bonuses, taking government deductions. So if you don't have any savings, or if you don't have deposit any money, then you can take then one thing will be definitely there, that is the deductions by the government. And if you have paid the professional tax, and that too can be subtracted. So this is basically we have discussed so far now, and within a one slide I'll try to cover that. I'll try to compile all these things in one slide. So if you have other income, it can be saving bank interest, FDAR, RD interest, interest or income tax refund. So this is another thing, that if you have a last year refund, then government give interest as well. So suppose there is a refund due of 10,000. So till you receive 10,000 from the day you file ITR and the day you receive that 10,000, that much interest will be added to your 10,000, which is a refund. So then government give the interest as well, and you can mention any other income. So there are so many deductions that we have discussed. It can be for housing loan, it can be deduction for 80 max 1.5 lakh, PPF, LIC, housing loan repayment, deduction 80D, that is for the medical. Then we have a TTA, that is for the saving interest account. Then we have TTD for saving and FD interest both. And then we will check 26 AS form if TDS is deducted. So if it is deducted, we can enter it. In the end, we will check we have to pay the tax or we will get the refund. So that form we have already seen, that how it can be checked, that whether we have to pay the tax or is there any refund due for me. And if we have to pay, we will generate the challan and pay. If we are going to receive the fund, then there is no need to pay the tax, because already we have to take the refund from income tax department. And after filing ITR, we will e-verify. So how you can e-verify? Whether you have Aadhaar and PAN linked, then you will receive the OTP for the e-verification, and in that case you don't have to send acknowledgement to CPC Bengaluru. But if you are failed to e-verify, then you have to sign on the acknowledgement and send to the CPC Bangalore. So this is all compilation that how the things work, how you can see the different forms, and how you can see all the deductions put in that, getting the TDS deducted details, and then you can see the tax deposited by you or you will get the refund, and how to generate a challan and pay, and how to get the refund, how to e-verify. So all these processes take all these terminologies. So we can give you one course as well, that how you can file ITR, but that will be a spoon feeding for everyone. That we don't want to do. We have introduced a concept, all the terminologies, and shared with you that in each ITR, what are the important things, what are the backbone of ITR, how you can add your salary, how you can add your bonuses, and in which categories you can deposit so that you can get the deductions, and how it is helpful, what are the various limits for it, and how tedious things go, and how you pay the taxes. So every module, every category of these all these taxes and the TDSs is discussed in this module, which will help you when you will be filing ITR, when you will go to the income tax department website, when you will log in and you see how you can fill all these details, and you can come back to the slides and see what are all those deductions, what are those fields mentioned in the form 16 and 26 AS, then you can easily file. But still, if you face any issues, we have experts with us with the more than 10 years of experience in accounts and finance. They will help you, they will guide you, even they can file an ITR for you. So we will share all these details with you in this course so that you may have a complete clarity on ITR and you can file for yourself. And this was a vision with Atmanirbhar Bharat, led by our PM. So that with that vision we have initiated this course so that you can file your ITR and we can be honest with our government. So thank you so much. Good luck.